How's it going, everybody? So, for episode 2 of Fireside Chat, we find ourselves here in Altura Lakes, just in the Sawtooth National Forest, right?
Yep. Idaho.
In Idaho, yeah, that's right. So we're pretty much 3/4 through our road trip. So here we find ourselves for the second Fireside Chat. Today we're going to be covering the subject of our rig setup, which is something a lot of people that are in the hobby cover. So we figured it's time for us to cover our setup, along with our media setup, just because I'm sure, at some point someone's wondered whether not just for our channel but just in general. It's always a nice thing to kind of wonder, what exactly are you using to create that content. So we'll go in that order and we'll let Victor take it away.
Yeah. And this is won't be a rig walk around. That'll come later if there's enough interest. But yeah, we're always talking about budget, and to start off with, my rig setup is pretty much my rooftop tent. For example, I got a pretty good deal used. Even my tires, I know a lot of people frown upon getting used tires, but there's a way to check them.
Sure.
To
DOT
see how old they, to
condition.
see how old they are, and you can, if you know what you're doing, you can pretty much get a good feeling of how old they are.
Sure.
And I've only bought a few things new as far as like for my setup, like the roof rack, and otherwise it's all about looking for deals. And I think that's something we're always looking at, a budget and looking for. I'm always going over OfferUp constantly. And I know Julia will. I'm always on there, so she'll tell you that.
So like for you, what do you want to as far as like, why did you choose to set up the way it was? Like, what drew you to this? Was it just deals? But because, technically you could look for a deal for anything, but you sought certain things. Why did you seek these things for your setup, for your hobby? In other words, for your approach, why'd you go with this? As far as your external roof rack, that style in particular, that tent, why a rooftop as opposed to a ground tent, all that stuff.
I was always interested in roof racks, but as everybody knows, they're really expensive. And even for a budget community build, I think they're down to about $700, $750, depending where you buy it from. But at the time, I didn't have that kind of money, and I wasn't really looking for one, but I was interested in them, and they just kind of deal fell into my lap. So that's really the only reason I have one. I was still looking into them, and I probably would buy one in the future, but that's the only reason I really have one now, is because I came upon a deal. Same thing with the wheels and tires. I wasn't planning on getting bigger tires and different wheels for the Jeep this soon, but it just kind of, that's the thing that happens when you're going over and over on the used, on Craigslist, OfferUp. You just fall into deals, and sometimes they're too good to pass up. So even my rock sliders, I got them used, there. So it's just one of those things that it's just, I don't know, I just like looking for good deals, and obviously, like we always say, we're always on a budget, and it's something I'm always looking for, a good deal, and if I find one, I'm going to jump on it.
Gotcha.
So, what about, I think you've fell upon a few good deals yourself.
Yeah, for the most part, the setup I have now isn't really a long-term setup. It's kind of like I would say like a stepping stone setup for me. It works for now. It does what I need it to do, but it's definitely not something I see myself hanging on to for a long time. The roof rack I actually have on during this trip was not mine. It was mine originally, but it isn't mine currently. I actually sold it to Matt, who has the 3rd-gen 4Runner. I just borrowed it for extra space. But what I have going on right now is just basically, a simple 3-inch lift, 33s, and that works for me for now. I feel like I can get through most things with enough clearance, and for the meantime, and I feel like that just kind of works. Obviously later I'd like to jump to 35s, but that would require a little more work towards my suspension and a little more research to finalize what I really want to achieve at the end of the day, not just looks. But for now, this is definitely more than enough. I went ahead and went with a platform setup for this particular road trip. That was a huge thing for us. Veronica and I, my wife, we both went back and forth a lot about the sleeping setup because we just hadn't had good experiences the last couple of times with rest during camp. So we were really, really trying to figure out a way. Originally, I was going to get a rooftop tent, also used, look for a good deal on OfferUp or Craigslist. But it just didn't work out in our budget at the end of the day. So we had to pass for this road trip. Eventually, we'll probably invest in that. So what I did was we didn't want to do a ground tent just because of where we were going. We were in grizzly country, and we just didn't want to take a chance So what I did is I built a platform the day before we left. It's not the prettiest thing, but it definitely worked in the amount of time I had. And yeah, man. I mean, honestly, we bought a 4-inch topper and loaded it up, and it's worked out pretty good.
I
I
mean,
mean, it's
you
comfortable. Is it a long yet again? Is it a long term setup? No,
yeah.
but it definitely helped us get through our camps very comfortably, safe, and we didn't have to experience the elements. We didn't get cold, we didn't get too high. It was a fine balance. So overall, I invested maybe like $70 into that, and it ended up working out. So, and it served as a little storage as well, so which I ended up wanting to go back home once we're done with this road trip and actually make a very dedicated storage system because I really liked how it worked out. But that's as far as my rig setup. That's kind of how it goes for now, man.
Yeah. I mean,
You
it
know,
seemed like you guys have been pretty comfortable in that, and I
doing pretty
mean,
all right.
it's like as it's always on a budget. I mean,
Yeah,
we're not rich whatsoever. I mean, it it's we're all limited on funds that we can spend on certain things. I mean, we still got our like everybody else, our bills and stuff. So we have to look for deals because that's how we have to get things, unfortunately. But
yeah,
I mean, I'd have yet to, I think, regret getting any of my stuff. Like, it's all worked out very well, and it's all paid for itself by this at this point.
yeah,
So I mean, it's one of those things where we're always shopping for budget things, but I mean, we look for quality also. We look for things that are gonna still work out for us for what we need them for. And that even goes
right.
down to like our filming setup. We use our phones, for example. I do have a DSLR, but I mean, I think I use my phone a lot more. And then I mean, I think you have a few things that have helped us out as well. You
Yeah,
know.
in terms of the filming setup, I mean, honestly, when this whole thing started, it was all started with the phone. Like I was tinkering with the phone before even Cellcouth was a thing. Like just making little small, short clips on Instagram back when it was what under 30 seconds or whatever. It was a cap or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, that's
I was
right.
making like
Like
small
15
little
seconds.
clips, yeah. And they were
Yeah.
fun, but it was all with the phone. So then I figured, why not keep learning this, see to what extent I can push this phone thing and the editing program, everything on the phone, and see how far it'll take me. And to this day, I personally haven't shot anything else except the drone shots, obviously. But everything else for me has been shot with my Note 9 and edited on the phone. Everything's edited on the phone. The music's downloaded, everything's put together, chopped, diced, everything. So I mean, I don't know. Some people kind of I've mentioned it to a few people when they've asked like, "Oh, what do you guys film with? What's your guys setup?" And when I tell them, they seem almost surprised. And so it's just one of those things where people invest too much time in and too much money into gear when you don't really need all of that. It's nice to have it, but it's not essential. You could definitely make good content with what you have, which is very basic things. We are using a gimbal, which is not even a fancy gimbal. It's like a Zhiyun gimbal. I mean, the drone's probably the biggest things we got. Like, and then you got an SLR right now that you're
Yeah.
using. So I mean, that's a pretty nice setup. We got a lav mic, cost me like $20. I mean, I got a shotgun mic that wasn't very expensive. I know you
Yeah.
got like a Rode or something,
Yeah, I
but
got two roads, like a really good deal, and it's all finding deals. I bought my stuff. I did buy the camera new, but yeah, all my mics and stuff I've bought used, and it all goes back to like I said, you don't need a whole lot to even film or even travel. I mean, you don't need the top of the line stuff. You can do it with just a regular SUV. Whatever you have. You don't need all these fancy things. I mean, to kind of sum it up, I guess it's just you don't need the top of line. You don't need the newest thing that's out there. You just need something that works and that works for you and your needs. So
yeah,
and that's what we've done. I mean,
yeah.
that's what I think for the most part. I mean, everything that we have is it's for our needs, and it's worked out for us pretty well, I would say.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I mean, just remember you're going out there to have fun. Whatever it is you're doing, whether it's you're enjoying the outdoors, whether it's making media or both or whatever, you're out there to have a good time, So whatever that means to you, do it. Whether you're someone that likes to spend money or not, it's not frowned upon to do either or. If you have it, why not buy it, spend it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
you could achieve pretty damn good results with very entry level
Yeah.
things or things you just carry with you all the time. It's not really that hard. So all in all, keep it up, keep the creativity up. I know we definitely try. We always hit a wall. at some point, but we bounce back. That's why it's good that we
Yeah.
work together because we feed off of each other. When one of us is in a rut, the other person kind of helps us out. So, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So, yeah,
All right, guys. So it's getting a little dark here. I think we're ready to have some coffee and then just kind of relax. It's been a little bit of a long day, but yeah, I mean, let us know again uh, in the comments if you guys can think of like any subjects you guys want us to talk about, or just anything you guys want to hear from us, or want to know about us. I mean, we're really open with everything. So I mean, whatever you guys want to know, let us know in the comments, or even just hit us a like, or if you're new to our channel, of course, subscribe like everybody else says. But yeah, I mean, thanks for watching. We're always very thankful for the support.
yeah,
So
definitely. We appreciate everybody that's contributed to the growth of our channel. Yeah, definitely. So stay tuned for more content. We have some exciting stuff coming out soon. So keep your eyes on the channel. Hit the notification bell so you're notified when it is released. And once again, thank you very much.
yeah.
Appreciate it.
Good
Good
night.
night.